You know what, my friend? Weeping over endless weeds is something every single gardener faces sooner or later. It breaks your back and your spirit. But wait, spending $50 on black plastic weed fabric? That is exactly where we must stop. Let me tell you a better way. Here in Japan, we have a beautiful, deep-rooted concept. Mottainai simply means what an absolute waste to throw precious things away. You look at this old delivery box and see trash. But today, I will show you how this $0 garbage changes everything. Believe it or not, this simple piece of cardboard can completely eliminate those stubborn weeds and turn your tired soil into absolute black gold. It sounds crazy, right? But I have been gardening for over 40 years, and this simple trick works every single time without fail. Many beginners rush to the store, buying expensive landscape fabric. They think plastic is the ultimate shield against the wild forces of nature. Let's take a closer look at what happens under that plastic. Have you ever wondered why the earth feels so hard and lifeless? Picture this. The plastic traps heat, suffocating the vital oxygen. The millions of tiny creatures below begin to suffer and slowly disappear. And get this, over time, that expensive fabric cracks and breaks down into toxic microplastics, permanently damaging your precious garden ecosystem forever. But nature has its own way of teaching us. Cardboard, my friends, is essentially made from natural tree fiber and wood pulp. When you lay it down, it immediately blocks the sun, stopping weed seeds from germinating, while still allowing the earth to breathe naturally. To us, a cardboard box is just household waste. But to earthworms and beneficial soil microbes, it is a 5-star, all-you-can-eat buffet. Instead of fighting nature with artificial barriers, we use Mottainai. We return the carbon back to the soil where it truly belongs. In the next step, I will show you exactly how to prepare this cardboard. It is the core of the traditional Satoyama method. Folks, listen up carefully. The very first rule of this method is preparation. You must peel off every single piece of packing tape and staples. Look closely at this tape. It might seem harmless, but this is pure synthetic plastic. If you leave it on, it will remain in your garden forever. Nature is incredibly smart, but she cannot digest plastic. Our helpful soil microbes and earthworms will eat the paper, leaving toxic plastic strips behind. Once the cardboard is completely clean, we move to the secret step. Grab your watering can and soak the cardboard until it is dripping wet. You might be wondering, why soak it? Wetting the cardboard makes it heavy, flexible, and perfectly molds it to the uneven shape of your soil. More importantly, moisture is the grand invitation. A wet, dark environment signals to the underground ecosystem that a massive feast has just been served. Look down below. The earthworms literally smell the moisture and the dissolving cellulose. They put on their tiny bibs and rush to the surface. Now, lay the wet cardboard directly over the living weeds. Do not pull them, and absolutely do not dig or turn the soil over. My grandfather used to say, digging is a trap. 1 square meter of soil hides 50,000 dormant weed seeds waiting for a flash of sunlight. By placing the cardboard right on top, we smother the current weeds and keep the buried seeds completely in the dark. Now watch the edges. You must overlap the pieces of cardboard by at least 4 to 6 inches. Weeds are incredibly sneaky and will find any tiny gap. If the edges just touch, a strong weed will push right through the crack. Overlapping creates an impenetrable fortress that blocks out the sun entirely. Look at that. In just 5 minutes, Kenji has covered the entire bed. No sweat, no back pain, and absolutely $0 spent on plastic. Of course, right now, our beautiful garden just looks like a wet recycling bin. Not exactly the peaceful Satoyama aesthetic we are aiming for, right? But do not worry. In the next step, we will hide this cardboard and trigger an explosion of fertility using another free material from nature. Now, pay attention to this part. We must completely bury the cardboard with a thick, 4-inch layer of rich, dark, organic compost or leaf mold. Kenji, help me spread this out. By covering the wet cardboard, we not only hide the ugly paper, but we also create a biological sandwich. Just imagine that boring delivery box is now trapped between the living soil below and the nutrient-packed compost above. It is the perfect environment. Here is the scientific secret. Cardboard provides massive amounts of pure carbon, while the compost delivers the necessary nitrogen. This is the golden ratio. As rain or irrigation water passes through the compost, it carries the nitrogen directly into the wet cardboard, accelerating the natural breakdown process significantly. Finally, we add a protective blanket of dry golden straw over the compost. This is our mulch layer, shielding the delicate microbes from harsh sun. This thick straw layer prevents moisture from evaporating, keeps the soil temperature perfectly stable, and restores that beautiful, rustic Japanese Satoyama aesthetic we love. Incredible, right? Look at this beautiful garden bed now. You would never guess that an old garbage box is hiding just beneath. While our garden looks peaceful and quiet up here in the sunlight, the real magic is just beginning to unfold deep down in the dark. Let's take a journey underground. The moisture and the smell of decaying organic matter act like thousands of native earthworms, normally resting deep in the subsoil, sense the feast. They tunnel upward through the dirt, heading straight for the wet cardboard. Picture this. The earthworms absolutely love the non-toxic glue and the corrugated paper layers. They gather around the wet cardboard like guests at a banquet. As they eagerly consume the soft paper fibers, they digest them and leave behind worm castings. These castings are a premium, highly concentrated natural fertilizer. Yes, you heard that right. The worm castings contain 5 times more nitrogen than regular soil. The cardboard is literally transforming into pure plant food. And the best part? Costs absolutely $0. Nature does all the heavy lifting, turning our discarded trash into black gold for the garden. Fast forward 8 weeks later, the heat of summer has arrived, and our garden bed has undergone an invisible, miraculous transformation beneath the surface. If we look underground now, the cardboard barrier is completely gone. It has been entirely consumed, leaving behind a perfectly aerated, spongy layer of humus. Without a plastic barrier to stop them, the roots of our tomato plants have plunged deep into the earth, anchoring themselves firmly against strong winds. Down here, they team up with beneficial fungi. This underground wide web expands their reach, absorbing hidden moisture and rare minerals from deep below. Back above ground, the results are simply staggering. Because the roots are so incredibly healthy and deep, the plant above explodes with unbelievable vibrant life. Wow, can you believe it? Kenji is staring at tomato plants that have grown taller than him, loaded with massive clusters of heavy, bright red fruit. My grandfather used to say, never feed the plant directly, always feed the soil. When the soil is truly happy, the harvest takes care of itself. Notice something else? Take a close look at the base of these giant plants. There is not a single weed in sight. Absolutely 0 weeds. When we gently pull back the golden straw mulch, the earth beneath is dark, incredibly moist, and smells just like a fresh, ancient forest after rain. The earthworms are still here, continuously working around the clock. They maintain the soil structure, acting as microscopic plows that keep the earth perfectly loose. Kenji holds a freshly picked tomato. It is twice the size of a normal one, bursting with flavor and nutrient-dense juices. Nature always rewards patience. This is the true power of working with nature instead of fighting it. We eliminated the problem using trash and multiplied our yield by 5. Just imagine if we had used that toxic black plastic fabric. The roots would be shallow, the soil would be suffocating, and the plants weak. This method honors the traditional Satoyama spirit. Every single element is connected in a beautiful loop, creating 0 waste while producing abundant, healthy, organic food. So, the next time you receive a delivery box, remember this secret. But wait, what if you have a massive garden? I will explain next. If you have a massive grassy field, digging it up would break your back. Instead, we use the traditional sheet mulching technique, also known as lasagna composting. Kenji used to look at this giant, overgrown field and feel completely overwhelmed. But with our cardboard trick, this entire area can be transformed without touching a shovel. First, you collect dozens of free delivery boxes. You flatten them out, remove the plastic tape, and overlap them tightly across the entire weedy field, covering everything. Next, we build layers just like a delicious lasagna. We start by tossing fresh green grass clippings directly over the wet cardboard. This provides a massive nitrogen boost. Then we add a thick brown layer of dry autumn leaves or rice straw for pure carbon. You just alternate green and brown layers until it is deep. Underneath, millions of earthworms and beneficial bacteria will aggressively consume these stacked layers. Over winter, they will turn the entire field into deep, incredibly fertile black soil. Fast forward to spring. That ugly pile of cardboard and yard waste has magically settled into a beautiful, rich planting bed. It is completely weed-free and ready. Kenji and I can now plant directly into this incredibly rich earth. The soil is so loose and airy that our hands can dig right in without tools. To buy this much premium organic topsoil in plastic bags would easily cost thousands of dollars. But by working with nature, our total cost is exactly $0. This is the profound heart of the Japanese Mottainai spirit. Waste is only waste if we lack the imagination to see its true potential in the natural cycle. We stopped fighting the earth and started feeding the soil ecosystem instead. When you invite the earthworms to the dinner table, they gladly do the plowing for you. Your garden will reward you with crops that are deeply resilient, incredibly flavorful, and naturally resistant to pests. Healthy soil simply creates healthy, thriving plants every single time. Look at this abundant harvest. Kenji now understands that true wealth in the garden does not come from spending money, but from observing and respecting the natural world. I have been gardening for over 40 years, and seeing the earth come back. Thank you so much for joining us in our Satoyama garden today. Please subscribe for more organic secrets, and remember, never throw away your cardboard boxes again.